All right, so we're going to dive into some Patreon questions here with Riley Dillon. I say we kick it off. We got Rick Smith. He's got quite a few.
Ricky Bobby.
They're all Canadian wake scene related. So
hit me.
It's kind of four, questions that are all about Canada. It's first one is, what's the hardest thing about being a Canadian wakeboarder? Touched on it a little bit, honestly, earlier.
It's depressing for me to say. There's a lot of things, but I would say we touched on geography. So we have a super short season. We have one of the shortest seasons, I would say. We only have 2.0s. We only have, I don't know if you know this, but there's only cables in Ontario. Like,
what about Valley Wake Park?
Doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't exist anymore?
No.
I actually rode there. But.
Balzer, I can't remember why Balzer shut it down.
Wow.
Something to do with the water quality or something. Like not his fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had the cable in Quebec, Points Wake Park. We had Raph's cable, but that was private.
Yeah.
But if you knew Raph, it was pretty, I'm sure he would have let pretty much anyone ride there if they were super eager. And then we had Winnipeg had a full-size cable for a little bit there. The Flatline boys in Saskatchewan had a pretty sick cable. I'm going there, but I don't even know if that's still going. And then Konix has their headquarter cable in Manitoba somewhere. But I don't think anyone rides there. I don't even think there's features. So there's not really anything outside of Ontario. And then in Ontario, we have a good number of parks and it's growing, but it's probably around 10. It's hard.
That is a lot of parks, honestly.
Yeah, we got Timmins, we got Bluestone, which was Windmill, we got the Rail Yard, we got all the Border Pass locations. They got 3. We got Wakepark, we got Rail Yard, we got. Am I missing anything? See, this is what I'm saying. I shouldn't.
Probably. See, you shouldn't have started listing.
I shouldn't have started listing them all because I'm digging my own grave. If I missed you,
I'll put a link in the description of the YouTube video of all the Canadian parks there.
Thank
so
you.
If you're close to one of them, go ahead and
for sure.
Check it out for sure.
So yeah, I'd say that's maybe one, but we kind of touched on that. But what I will say too is we have some really good people working towards full-size cables and growth. There are lots of challenges from the municipality when a country's literally never, or a province has literally never done it before.
Yeah.
That's a challenging pitch. So we have I know Brendan's working on one. I know Andy would love to do one. I know there's a bunch of people working on them. So kudos to them.
You get a couple of those suckers popping up, dude. That's huge.
Well, and we just want to keep getting international people to us. But yeah, if you're a cable rider, it's hard. If you're a boat rider, it's hard too because there's not as big of a scene as there used to be. It's expensive. We don't have the scene in Canada. In sports, Sport Canada uses the word LTAD. And I think Wake Canada doesn't really have a really good LTAD yet, long-term athlete development. We used to have really good stepping stones, and we still do. They're doing all they can. But, it's hard. If the LTAD is growing this province, and then you have to go to nationals 10 provinces away.
Yeah.
It's challenging. So I think we could grow that. And then the other thing I'd say that I've touched on is stigma. We're not taken seriously. I don't know why that is. I don't know why people think because we're just smaller that we got a lot of good riders. We got a lot of good parks, and the parks aren't taken seriously. The riders aren't taken seriously, and I don't really know why. And I think hopefully we're at the lead of the charge trying to change that philosophy. But it's weird when people like Raph and Rathy and
there's
Rusty
a lot of big Canadian names.
But what's unfortunate is all those guys, I think it worked because they
moved down to Florida.
Yeah. It's challenging. And it's fine that they did. And I'm proud of them for doing that. And then it worked into the amazing careers that they had. But it'd be nice if you could spend a little bit of time at home and that not be seen as a negative.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Canadian boat rider? Second one from Rick.
Probably Rathy. Okay. Probably a mix between Raph and Rathy. It's funny, Rathy.
Good answers.
But it's hard for me to. Rusty's sick too, but I learned about Rusty later. Like I was more unaware of Rusty. Rathy was like a couple of my good friends, like role models. So I learned about him, and then you know how I feel about Raph. Raph is the GOAT, and he's always had a soft spot for me. And Ollie too, man. So yeah, probably that.
It's a good list.
But shout out to Christian and Derry too. They rivet behind the boat.
Derry absolutely does rivet behind the boat.
And Michaela Petrie, we talked about her earlier, but her and Erica were amazing behind the boat.
Yeah. What do you love about the Canadian wakeboard scene, and what do you think needs to be done to make it better?
I love the culture. I love the community. I love the support network. I love just the culture in general. Like, it's just amazing. What needs to get better is, again, I only know what I know. I'm working hard to learn more and more. But what separates, and this is true for not only just Canada, because in some ways we're doing better than some other countries, but there's no structure, man. Structure, I don't know why, just because it's, a sport that's about free and like do whatever you want and everything, doesn't mean there can't be structure. Structure doesn't need to put you in a box. It's just in order to get more funding, we need numbers, we need analytics, we need data, we need to follow certain rules. We need some contests to be okay with drug testing because we're a sport, and so does every other sport. And if you like it or not, it's a sport. And, it is what it is. Like, we just need to be able to play by the rules. And, throughout the research study I did this summer, I learned a lot, and I'm pretty armed and I don't really need to tell a lot of people what I know because I'm trying to make moves quietly and support people when I can, whenever I can. But like, I talked a lot with people from Sport Canada about all the pitfalls of what Wake Canada hasn't been doing, and not necessarily Wake Canada, WSWC, Water Wakeboard Canada. And what needs to change too is we're run by water skiers. We have a lot of good people fighting really hard at the top, representing wakeboarding, but we're run by water skiers, and a lot of them are really old, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they're kind of stuck in their ways. And there hasn't been a lot of change recently, and there's a lot of money in Canada that goes to water skiers, and there's nothing that goes to wakeboarders in comparison. We get some money, but it's not a lot. It doesn't even cover one trip. Whereas, like, some of the water skiers are making like a minimum wage job salary full year just for being on the national team. That's one sponsor, you could say. So it's disproportionate. I could go on and on about what's going on there, but I don't need to get into the nitty-gritty of all that right now. Maybe it's not my place, but that needs to change. I don't know if we just need to learn to play them nicer together. I don't know if people like me need to step up as the rider and like speak for the challenges that we're facing based on the actions they're making. I don't know what it looks like, or if we need to do what snowboarding did and disconnect. They're now two separate organizations. So I don't know exactly what the right idea is, but I'm on board to help.
Yeah. I mean, love that. That's a lot of good insight right there. He's also wondering, is the Canadian scene growing? You kind of touched on that already. And who are the up-and-coming riders that you see?
Nice. Yeah, it's growing. It's done this and this and this and this and this and this for sure. But we're getting more parks. We're getting more riders. We're getting better riders. Canada at a national level, in terms of sport, Canada values podiums, Canada's a country that loves success. So we need to keep putting money into the top riders and keep putting money into the up and comers so we can keep a generation flowing and always have people that are fighting for the top, because that's like financial support wise. It is what it is. That's how it works right now. So I think Canada's growing and we're working towards some of these amazing goals, and I'm proud of everyone for what they're doing. Who are some up and comers? Wow, there's a bunch. Connor Gilbert, he's a young kid from Bluestone Wakepark. He I don't know. He has a lot of pieces that remind me a little bit of like Liam and Cam and Jesse and I, like following a similar path. Family super passionate. The whole family rides. But but he just feels motivated. I think he needs to continue tackling some of the pieces that I had to tackle about fear and pushing yourself and everything, but he will. I'm confident in him, and he's killing it. So keep it up, Connor.
Heck yeah. Love that.
Shane Edward, wake skater, shout out. Jordan Shape's protege. I don't know what his plans are. He moved out to BC. They got a jet ski, so he's ripping up on the jet ski. But he's killing it, man. I really hope he comes. The Rail Yard Wake Park got the PWL this year. I don't know if you know that. So we have the PWL coming to my hometown. My hometown.
You better unstrap on a wake skate and get.
Dude, I'll ride the AM category for sure. Like 100%. I will be there if I can. It's like midsummer. It's hard for me.
If I know yet.
Like I'm not going to pass it up to be at a contest in Europe, but like if I can, I want to be there to support Rail Yard because it's a huge opportunity. And then we also have the PWL boys live streaming our provincials and our nationals.
There you go.
So that's super exciting.
Sick.
So we got Bobby coming down for a month. So yeah, those two. We got some amazing ladies coming up too. They're not necessarily young, but like shout out to all the ladies that are ripping it. Corey. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce her last name. I'm terrible at it. But Corey's been really impressing me. Like, she opens up to me a lot, and I can see her like asking for advice and help and support, and I can see she's doing that with not just me, with other people, because she wants to get better and she wants to improve, and she's got a full-time job and she's killing it. She's like a big time like welder, like on big. She's got a good big girl job.
Yeah, big girl job.
But yeah, she's killing it, and she's been having it, and there's a bunch of other girls ripping it. So shout out the ladies.
Love it.
And then I know you didn't say Canada, but I just want to say internationally, I love Jakey Heatley. Yeah, that kid. Personality on and off the water. He's a young ripper. Like all the brothers are insane. They're all so good, so underrated. But Jakey boy's young. He's a cute little man, and he's gonna get the ladies for sure. And he's a ripper. I big fan of the family and Jake.
Good names there. We got another one from Daniel Jarrett.
Danny.
So, his question is, in light of the challenges that guys like you face for financial support in such a small sport, what is the way forward? Or will we always just have to say boat is where the money is? He's wondering is there a better path to becoming a professional wakeboarder on the cable side of things rather than just diving over to boat? It's kind of what it boils down to.
100% there is. I think times are changing. Wow, there's a lot to cover in that question. I think a lot has to change for that. But yes, and I think people like my generation, the generation before me, like I don't know about other people, but I haven't had a structure to follow. I'm just trying my best and doing what I think is right. And I've learned a lot, and I hope we can carve a path for future riders so it's not so damn hard and sad and, a little bit more supportive in terms of, we're really supportive of the Canadian, but like a Canadian moving to the international side, like, dude, I could just go out on my own. Like, I hope we can find a way to help them have that long-term plan and kind of pave the way for them a little bit like people like Raph did for us.
A little more structure.
It's
a good word to use, and I think that wakeboarding definitely could use a little bit more structure. I think we're slowly getting there, but.
And in terms of what he said financial. So I think it's tricky right now because the way I see it, they're not moving the same amount of numbers as these companies are. But boats are like the equivalent of a Lamborghini in value. So if a boat ride, like I don't know how boat guys and girls contracts look like. However, I would imagine a big percentage is coming from their boat sponsor. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah,
it would be a fair assumption.
So,
to make.
Because these guys are selling $300,000 boats, and you only need to sell so many boats to make a lot of money and understand to put marketing into these guys that can help you sell boats. It makes it like it's easier when you have when your product is so expensive and just selling one is such an accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know, cables aren't like that. Like, I guess a cable manufacturer would be the equivalent to a boat sponsor, right? It's like someone riding for Sesitech or Conex or Wakeparks. Thank you.
But the volume is never going to be there.
But the volume's never going to be there. It's different. So I think that instantly puts us at a disadvantage because, you know, like, how do I explain this? So it goes back to the narrative that I've heard on some of the other podcasts, but that we need to bring more out of wake money into the industry because the industry money is bleeding dry. There's not enough to go around. There's too many people that deserve it. And I'm an example of that, I think. And I think a boat company is an interesting situation when they're in the industry, yes, but also they're a different market too, because boats aren't just for wakeboarders. Now, wakeboard is just to wakeboard. A boat can be for so many different things. Yes, for sure, they have, you know, they're tailored to boot you off a wake, but there's also this huge wake surf scene and everything. So, like, there's different revenue streams there, and we just can't compete with that. So I think this kind of goes back into my conversation of structure. And in order to make a better path, we need more money. In order to have more money in the sport, we need to grow and get more eyes on the sport. What's a really good way to do that? Well, look what happened with surfing, snowboarding, and skateboarding in the Olympics. Love it or hate it. Some people hated it. Some people loved it. But what did it do? It brought more money in the industry. And now guess what? Snowboarders in the street are making more money now because guys that they don't even know went to the Olympics, got more eyes on snowboarding. People got into snowboarding. Now they care about course street parts. So they didn't have to go in the Olympics if they didn't feel like it. If it's not their vibe, that's fine. But now they're making more money because of it. Same with street skating. So we need to grow to the masses. I don't care if you think it's cool. I don't care if anything. You can do whatever you want, whatever you think is cool. But if we want the sport to grow into a big sport where people can make a living out of this thing and not have to work part-time jobs and do other things to make the ends meet, and actually maybe set these athletes up to, like, one day maybe be able to, like, retire and not need to, like, go start from square one at 30 years old in a career and already be behind. Sure, you have all this lived life experience, but you have no money to show for it. So, like, I would love to be able to see that. And I'm not saying everyone needs to be on board for it, but I just don't know why some people are hating on that. Yeah. Because, like, especially for someone like me who's, like, in the trenches right now, like, that's all me and all the boys and all the girls I'm talking about would love to see. We'd love the opportunity. Like, we'd love the opportunity to fight like we're fighting, but on a bigger stage in front of more people. Like, and that's only going to happen if we start playing by the rules and then we can bring this outside money in. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but, like, Mark Morris didn't make a lot of money before the Olympics.
The whole Olympic thing is, like, hey, I would love for wakeboarding to be in the Olympics. Do I think it'll happen? I don't know. I used to think no. It might not happen. I don't know. It's a motorized machine that tows you around. I think that's going to be a huge hurdle to get over, but we might be able to get over it. I hope we can. But the people, I've always thought it was weird, people hating when snowboarding or skateboarding goes in the Olympics, and they're like, they ruined my sport. No, you let your sport get ruined because you gave a shit. Go on your skateboard and go skateboard. Like, yes, culture is an important thing, but the culture of skateboarding isn't going to die because it's in the Olympics and more people are doing it. Will some things change? Sure, but guess what? A lot more people are going to step on a skateboard now, and they're going to be happy.
Isn't that more important?
It's way more important.
And sure, are there going to be more kooks? Sure, we saw that in snowboarding after the Olympics. We see a lot of kooks. But I'd rather more kooks than
guess where the money comes from, dude?
Kooks.
The kooks.
And guess what? Guess what? Kooks turn into core. Everyone starts as a kook.
Nailed it, dude.
So, like, I don't know what to say to that. Like, when I hear people say that, I don't even feel like having a conversation about it. Like, I would, if you want to, that's great, but
you just don't get it. You don't really, you're not thinking about it.
Or you're not thinking long term on this.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say, back to your point about the Olympics, I do think we will make the Olympics.
I'd love to hear that.
And from all my research I've done for this research study, I do think it's possible. However, I do not think it'll be full cable.
Two-tower?
Yeah.
I would think it should be two-tower.
I think two-tower is the future, which is crazy to say. and we need to reimagine what the course looks like and the type of features and everything. But why can't we have more street league, big air, in a stadium style events? How the hell does it make financial sense to, this is part of why water skiing died at X Games and the Olympics. How does it make logical sense to have to, especially a full-size cable, have to literally, you clearly can't do that. It's a Summer Olympics. They have the stadiums all in like a big circle, right? So now you have to pick a new spot. Now you got to get all these people to go to this new spot near this huge body of water where they can't see the back corner. And it's like off-site. So even if you're there, like, is it going to even feel like you're at the Olympics if you're so off-site? Like, yes, rowing is the same thing, but, you know, it's more of a history sport.
It's a legacy sport.
It's a legacy sport. Yeah. It's different. This is an action sport. So, two-tower, it's short. It's easy to understand.
Quick.
It's quick. It's easy to follow.
Yeah.
I've had lots of conversations with people how the live streams could be differentiated to make it more entertaining with all the dead time. And, like, I even have some of the plans too. Like, I want to do some of this stuff too, but I'm having this trouble because I have all these ideas, but I only have so much time, and I'm already like doing my best with the time I have. I have a lot going on, and I want to try and support. Like, I want to help with these events too. Part of my degree is events, and like I learn a lot and I have a lot of connections, and I want to help with all this off-water stuff too. But it's hard when you're trying to do it yourself as well. You only have so much time and effort to give. So I would love to see more street league style stuff. Imagine an event too, where 2 runs, 5 best trick attempts. Could work for wakeboarding too. Why don't we try it? More events more events like the Red Bull event in Italy, but maybe ones that aren't doubles. You know, like doubles is cool, and I love the idea, but it's cool if it's a series, and if it's the only event, like doubles makes it even more challenging to understand.
Yeah. And
even more questions. Like, imagine just a short, sweet live stream and steal my ideas. Like, if you like them, like, this isn't stealing. It's like, if 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes explaining what wakeboarding is. Who cares? If you look at all the other live streams, they explain the format, how it works, what it is, how it goes. You explain the format. You talk about it. You talk about the pulley system, because guess what? We're even newer. People don't know what the hell it is. We move into it. You do runs. You do it. You have dead time. You fill it. Best trick attempts, podium. It's a 45-minute event. Done.
I think 2-tower system is the way to do contests for sure.
Yeah.
Totally believe that.
And I think there's a conversation there about where do air tricks fit in. You know, I'm not the biggest air trick guy myself, but I understand a lot of people are. And I understand it is part of the sport, whether you like it or hate it. And I don't know where that fits in. So I think that's a challenge too.
You don't always have to shoehorn something in just because it doesn't work. Just because you build a course that's amazing, like Valdosta's, yard sale course, air tricks don't fit in. That's just fine.
Yeah.
That is totally okay.
Yeah, it is fine. But I don't like, even though air tricks aren't my thing, I do hate the idea for someone like, Loic, or there's so many, Carlo Hussein, he's killing it on air tricks. Like, I do feel for those guys. Like, I feel like if it made the Olympics, like, it's almost like half pipe making the Olympics and slopestyle and big air not at the beginning. It kind of is. It's not inclusive, and I'm okay if we start with 2-tower. Like, let's just get in, because those guys could rip it on the 2.0 too. But I do feel for people like that who, like, if that's what they're really good at, they won't get their opportunity to shine. So I hope we can find a way to incorporate all aspects of the sport.
I mean, building a full size when it comes to Olympic money, that's nothing. That's pennies that's just drop in the bucket.
Yes, so, like, that is true.
But it's a barrier. They're gonna be like,
it's a huge barrier, and they don't want a new sport where they have to hop over 17 barriers when the analytics aren't there to bring revenue back. Because at the end of the day, it's a business, and no matter if it's big money or small money, they need an ROI. And if they don't have an ROI, they're not going to do it.
Yeah, I agree on that. But I think you watch a contest like LAO. That's a great full-size contest.
100%.
So that is how you do a full-size contest.
Yeah, for sure.
You just got to rethink it.
You got to rethink it. And I do think that's possible as well. But again, like, it's a harder pitch still. Way harder. You don't have a stadium audience. Yes, it's about the TV presence, but it's also about selling tickets.
I mean, dude, think about Wake the Line. Like, that is just perfect.
Dude,
like,
it's insane.
Sick.
It's even insane. Like, yard sale's sick. Dude, Andy's Park, our Own the Stone this year, dude, like, we don't have a ton of riders that are like at the, there's a couple riders at the top fighting for it. But dude, the course is insane. The rail yard comp, the course is insane. If we could make that into a pro series event, which I know Andy really wants, and I'm all here to support them in rail yard, like that could be that type of event. We have a land gap. You can stand right in it. You can be in the action. He's already got it. He's killing it by getting the live stream going this year. Like there's so much potential, but also the opportunity to do more, like our boat show event, dude. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh yeah.
Like we have a freaking stadium, dude. Like it's a whole new atmosphere and people love it. It's insane, dude. Like it's, when I compete at boat show, it's a completely different feeling than anywhere else. And it's not even a big event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a big event in some ways, but it's not like it's not like Worlds.
Yeah. Just the beginning. I think, yeah, you hit the nail on the head with the 2 tower and the path there forward. We got another question from Austin Farr. So 2, one is, what's the most amount of boards you've broken in a single trip?
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Kenneth actually mentioned this one to me. So I did have a little think about this. I'll share with you one story. It's pretty funny. So a couple of years back, my parents were renewing their wedding vows. So they'd been married for 25 years, so they wanted to go like away, just the close immediate family. And like I'll just super low key on the beach, renew their wedding vows, 25 years. My parents are like lovebirds still. So like it's nice. I love it. Then we went, I brought my buddy Kenneth with me, and the rest of the family was off doing something, and me, my dad, and Kenneth were not interested. Didn't sound exciting. So we wanted to go do something like sporty. We found out Dominican had a wake park like half an hour away, and we didn't even go there playing the wakeboard. Didn't have anything wakeboard related with me. But we roll up, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the Caribbean something maybe. Anyway, sorry, I can't remember the name, but amazing park, really cool place.
Is it 2 tower or full size?
Full size. You would recognize
it's
it.
It's not Mayan water complex, is it?
No, that's one in Mexico.
Oh, this is Caribbean. Yeah, I have no idea then.
It's in Dominican.
Did the Ronex team go there?
Yes.
Like, okay.
Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, I don't know the name.
So I recognized it ever since I saw that, but I remember seeing those videos and not realizing that I was Dominican. So anyway, so we're there, we find it. We roll up not knowing what the heck, but we're like, let's go wakeboard. This is so sick. I was so stoked because like I was taking a break from wakeboarding because I had to sacrifice like a contest or whatever to like go to this in like August or something. So I was just stoked to get back on my wakeboard. And we roll in, and the person at the front desk knew who I was. Like recognized, like followed me on Instagram, and like was stoked, and like knew I was on Ronex, and that was a Ronex park. So they just like hooked it up, like instantly. And like we tried to offer to pay, and they wouldn't even let my dad or Kenneth pay or anything. So they were just super nice. But we went out there, and like the workers there were just like anything you need, like with everyone, not just like us, like with everyone. So before I can even get to the dock, because I already got me a rental board set up, but their rentals are like, they bought them new, I'm sure. But it was like remember when the district park was a thing and it was still foam core and it was like black with like some red writing on it? Mm-hmm. That's what a lot of the rentals were. And that's foam core. I break a lot of boards that are wood core.
Anybody breaks a foam core board, so that's okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so I went out there, broke that in like 2 laps. Like not even doing anything serious. Got in. Before I'd even got to the dock, get another one set up. Went out, broke it. Came back in. Got another one. I was already starting to feel bad. I was already like I was like trying to like, do you have anything else? Like whatever. He's like,
no, wake skate for me.
Like, yeah, like it's fine. He's like, it's fine. It's fine. He was like, we have so many, and that's true. They had so many, and they looked like they were like bruised and beaten, like they needed new rentals. So didn't seem worried, but I felt bad. But anyway, he gives me another one. It lasts for a little bit, and then I fell on something. Come back to the dock, and the cable op's like, can you please do something for me? I was like, what? He's like, can you back to that, like this like gap or whatever? I was like, yeah, sure, I can back to that. But like, it was a little bit of a compression. I knew I was on a foam board, but like, fuck it. Back to it. Dude, I've never broken a board like this in my entire life. It felt like I did a back to land on paper. It focused so bad that both Kenneth swears that both my feet wrapped around the pipe. Like
it was on a pipe too. It wasn't even on a hard edge of a unit. Wow.
I was on a pipe. like literally like compressed and like both feet touched like the side of the rail, and the fiberglass sliced, like obviously, and one part stuck up, and like I squatted into the rail. It sliced the inside of my thigh.
Ow.
Like way too close to the gentleman. I still have the scar from it, fun fact.
Jeez.
And then I came back in, realized I didn't lose my boys, so it was all good. Came back in. He already has another step. I'm like, no. I'm like,
we're done.
No, like, dude, like, unless you have a wood core board, like, I can't, like, I appreciate everything you guys are doing, but I don't want to do that. He gives me like a double up wood core, and I was like, sick. Broke it in like 5 laps.
Water down there is a little different.
I don't know what's going on. But then I came in, he already was trying to give me another one. I was like, no. I was like, absolutely not.
I'm going to run through your whole inventory here, bud.
So I just hung out in the swimming pool, but I had a blast.
You got a couple laps in at least.
It was fun. Yeah, it got a good ride in. But that was like 4 or 5 in a day. That was a fun one.
That's a lot. Got another one from Austin. So this is it. I'm going to try and ask this the best way. Okay. You appreciate and excel at technique, creativity, style, and stunts, which is like kind of 4 different aspects of wakeboarding or any board sport. If you could steal a rider's ability in each category, so technique, creativity, style, and stunts, who would you choose and why?
Wow. Amazing question, dude. Thanks for that. So it was technique, style.
So we can go one by one. Technique, yeah.
Technique.
Creativity, style, stunts. So technique first.
Technique, I'm going to stick with Trent and Gavin.
Okay. It's fair. Good answer.
I know that they have incredible fundamentals, maybe credit to their parents or whatever, but they're good fundamentals. Like they pop properly off a kicker. They don't tend to zeech very often. And sometimes they do and they get chirped for it. But I just feel like the way I think they got good technique.
Okay.
Then it's not perfect, but they got pretty damn good technique.
Creativity. I got one in mind, but you can go.
I'm sure you do. I mean, one that's sticking in my... There's so many people in creativity. I will just say that. But something that comes to my mind right now is Felix just posted...
On that banana reel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, just anybody that can, like, see a course and... like, just do something.
Think of something that 99% of people wouldn't think to do. Yeah.
And, like, am I saying that what Felix did, like the tail skirt through the banana, am I saying it's the hardest thing ever? No. But did anyone else post that? No.
All right.
So I think that's really neat. Man, who are you thinking of?
I would have taken Canadian Darius Nebel.
Dairy.
The shit he does, dude.
Dude, I was gonna save him for a different one.
Okay, well we got 2 left.
But you brought it up, so let's run with it with creativity because he works in all of these categories.
That is true. He does. Yeah, he does.
Dairy is also really good at seeing a course and doing something that no one else does, and he's really good at. He's got a deep bag of tricks, and he knows when to pull out which one, and he knows when to tweak something he's done just slightly to make it a brand new trick.
Mm-hmm.
And I love watching Derry. Derry's definitely one of the biggest idols. So
Style. Who you got?
Style. Can I do more than one?
You can do 2. I'll give you 2.
Liam Braley. I love the kid.
He does have good style.
Growing up with him. I don't think there's many people like him. He's incredible. And I'm not even just talking about wakeboarding, snowboarding too. Kid impresses me nonstop, and should have seen. Me and Andy were balls of mushes when he won X Games. Like, and he does it with his own flair, and he's just Liam Braley, man. Style. That is definition of style.
Good answer.
What's the last one so I can pick and choose?
Stunts.
Okay. Okay, I know you said 2, but I'm going to do 3, but I'll just gloss over them. Dom and Mikhail Mundy.
Is this for style or stunts?
Style.
Okay, style. So you got 3 for that. Okay. All right, then who's on stunts?
Graham Burrs.
Ah, fuck, that was my answer too. I feel like that's kind of a...
And Raph.
Raph too. Graham's still riding, so it's... I mean, yeah, you can take Raph's over, but like...
Yeah.
Graham's kind of a no-brainer on that one. It's... I can't think of anyone who's more stunt.
I can't think of... I don't think that would be... That should probably be any of the ones... Like, I missed about 10 people in each category that all are deserving of those. I don't think anyone else would pick someone other than Graham. Like,
that would be everybody's first pick.
Yeah, I think so.
I believe so.
I think so.
All right. We got one last one from Ollie Jerome.
Olivier.
So you came through the Canadian wake scene and made a bunch of friends, older brothers, sisters. What did you learn from them that has changed your view on things, life or wake?
Wow. I've kind of touched on this already, but I just think I was always the youngest of the crew. I always hung out with an older crowd in every sport I was in, and I was the one. So I could absorb a lot of information, and I was always like a people watcher. Like always, like I knew what situation I was in. I knew it wasn't what normal kids were experiencing, and I wanted to take that as an opportunity. So I think off the water, I was exposed to a lot of things early, and I got real world examples of what to do and what not to do, and people handling things really poorly and learning from that and not wanting to apply it to myself, and people setting really good examples of like how to be a good person and how to be a businessman and what path to take and how to treat people, and the list goes on and on. But I just feel like learning from the good and the bad helped shape me to who I am from these older people who were going through those things, and I was just a young kid looking in. On the water, I had lots of good older brothers and sisters helping me with define what my style was. You know, something that the Canadian culture was really good about was like legit. It's like zeeching wasn't an option. We all zeech sometimes. It's not on purpose. I was editing some of the boat show stuff, and I caught myself zeeching, and I was like, no way I zeeched. Like, I still hate it.
It'll sneak up on you, dude.
Oh, dude, it'll sneak up on you. Even it's just like a little micro one.
I had a micro one today, dude. Yeah, I was just like, when I landed, I was like, everything about that was just great, except it just was like a little micro zeech.
Dude, it grinds my gears, especially when you think it's fine and you watch the clip back and you're like, you're kidding. You're kidding.
Yeah, it's like your brain lied to you.
Yeah,
like,
your brain lied to you. So yeah, just instilling like what it means to be a wakeboarder, that it's not all about yourself. It's about the community. It's about the sport. You're like a pawn, you know, like a whole team of wakeboarding. And, I got lots of inspiration, and also, again, rite of passage. We all got treated. I was bored, bitch. I had to deal with shit, but also it makes you tough. Gets some thicker skin. I definitely needed to thicken up my skin when I was young. So, I think it taught me a lot, dude. I think I got a lot of good examples.
Hell yeah. Love it.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for submitting Patreon questions. If you do want to see who the guests are early, make sure to join that Patreon. Link will be down in the description. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal.
Get it done.
Yeah. See you guys next time.